And welcome back to Hoopsville. Once again, I'm your host, Dave McHugh. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday. Again, a pre-taped show due to conflicts, so I appreciate you taking the time to take in the show while being not live and all. Again, as always, we push our social media abilities or your abilities to communicate with us on Twitter at D3Hoopsville or use the hashtag Hoopsville. We really do encourage you to use the hashtag as it will keep up the conversation for everybody who may not be completely familiar, and we want more people familiar with the show. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Hoopsville. Of course, you can email us at hoopsville@d3hoops.com. We look forward to your interactions. A reminder, we are on the air most Thursdays. We will not be on the air, though, on Thanksgiving, certainly. But we will be on the air most Thursdays up until about mid-December when Stag Bowl becomes a priority for many of us. And then we take our Christmas and New Year's break. We will certainly be having vignettes at the Hoopsville Classic. We'll also have them at the D3 Hoops Classic in Vegas. Then we will hit the air January 5th with our Sunday through and Thursday schedule the rest of the season all the way through the championships in Salem, Virginia and Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Before the break, we had a chance to talk to Sydney Moss, a sophomore forward guard who transferred from Florida, now playing for Thomas More. And we're keeping that theme alive a little bit here as we welcome in our next guest. Joining us on the Hoopsville hotline is Lauren Avant. She is a senior guard for the Rhodes Lynx. And Lauren, welcome to the show. Appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We should mention that you have this experience that Sydney Moss has gone through. You transferred from a pretty big school in Division I women's basketball, just a school named Tennessee. And so you kind of gone through what she's going through this year. You transferred to Rhodes, though, a few years ago. You're in your third year at Rhodes and fourth year of eligibility. Just before we get into your team and everything else, the experience that you went through and the decision-making that you went through, I'm sure it was not easy, but I suspect since you're still at Rhodes, it was successful.
Yes, sir, it was.
When we look at this, one of the interesting things about your story was you committed to play for Pat Summitt in Tennessee many, many years before you graduated high school, whether 8th, 9th grade, somewhere in that area. What was the draw? You're from Memphis, Tennessee. I suspect maybe some of it had to do with the fact that you're a Tennessean?
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. Both my parents attended Tennessee, and I've always been a Lady Vol fan growing up. My favorite player is actually Tamika Catchings, and I try to emulate her game, and I actually wear the same number as her, number 24. So I've just been a Lady Vol since birth.
So you said you'd go. You ended up going. Obviously, not D1's not for everybody, and sometimes they find that out when they get there. What was the decision factor after a year of moving on, as it were?
I think that I made the best decision for me. My body couldn't, keep up with all the intense practices and the intense workouts, and I was just plagued with injuries through my entire freshman campaign. So I decided that transferring to a lower division would be better for me to maintain my body and still be able to play while also focusing on schoolwork.
Well, the focus on schoolwork is certainly something we all, certainly emulate here in Division III. But I got to ask, some people say that, it may seem easier at a lower division. Was your body able to recover? Is it still as tough as it would have been at Division I?
Actually, at times it is, but my coach really works with me, and he gives me days off from practice occasionally, and I get treatment almost year-round. They do the best they can to keep my body moving as much as they can.
If my memory serves, you had an Achilles injury, maybe even Achilles tear that you had to recover from. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Actually, since I transferred from D1, I actually tore my Achilles, and I've had my right ankle reconstructed, but I'm still moving. I was just recently diagnosed with osteoarthritis, but my teammates, my coaches, our training staff is excellent, and they're top of the line, and they work with me and do their best to keep me on the floor as much as they can.
You might be a medical case, how to keep a student-athlete active in their sport despite lingering problems and challenges. I mean, how much are you doing just so you can play basketball?
Oh, goodness, I'm doing countless hours of rehab on campus with trainers and off campus with some of the best physicians in the city of Memphis and surrounding areas. We're doing everything we possibly can to keep my body on the floor, and sometimes that entails just as much time as I would, be participating in practice. So it's tough, but we do it for the love of the game.
Oh, absolutely, the love of the game. I can appreciate that. Curiosity, though, when you walk into Pat Summitt's office your freshman year and say, Coach, I don't think this is working. I'd like to transfer. I'm very curious, a dean of college basketball like Pat Summitt, what the reaction is from her.
Oh, she was very, very supportive. She was understanding. She was very supportive of me, while I was there and while I had my injuries, and she was, willing to work with me and, stick it out. But I think at the end of the day, we both kind of knew that my body wasn't holding up too well and it probably wasn't going to get much better. So she supported me completely in my decision to move on.
Any help in trying to find the school that was the best fit for you?
Oh, yes. We actually sat and talked about it, and at the time my aspirations were to be a physician, so she reached out to as many people as she could have, and we actually explored some options together.
Are you still on that track now that you've got plenty of medical background?
Oh, goodness, yes. I'm not even sure if I need the schooling. I feel like I'm a case myself.
You almost graduate with your own degree in all of this. So at least all the rehab and all the appointments make sense to you.
Yes, sir, definitely.
And quickly, and obviously we're Division III here, but Pat Summitt is so well respected. What's it like to play under Pat Summitt? And furthermore, what's it like to know what she's going through and that you at least got an opportunity to be there?
It's truly an honor to play for such a legendary woman like Pat Summitt, and she truly is everything that, you hear in the media and in the tabloids, I guess, and she's an outstanding woman. She pushes her players and everyone else around her to be the best they can. She treats everyone like family. She really is outstanding, and it was just, you're almost in shell shock when you first meet her and realize how humble she is, and just seeing her go through this, it's really sad, but just knowing how tough she is, I don't worry about it at all. I know that she's so tough and she has such a great support system, and she treated people well, so I know that people are treating her well in return.
Let's talk about the experience of going to Rhodes. So you decide to go back to your hometown, play in Memphis at Rhodes. What was the attraction at Rhodes? How was the transition? You're now a few years past it, obviously, but how was the transition into a Division III program where obviously student is even the most important thing?
It's definitely very different. Of course, at the high Division I level, you're still student athletes, but the work is definitely more intense and rigorous at the D3 level because most players or even students have aspirations outside of sports. But transitioning home was great, being around family and great people, but it took some getting used to.
Yeah.
Because reprioritizing, sports and school and everything, but it's been a great experience, and I haven't regretted it at any time.
Talking to Lauren Avant, of the Rhodes Lynx, number 22 ranked preseason team in D3Hoops.com. Let's talk about the fact that you're making headlines quickly here in your senior year. You were on the first week, you were the SAA Player of the Week, and for good reason. Against Blackburn, you put up 18 points. You also hauled in 3 rebounds, but then the next night against Rust, you put up 41 points and hauled in 8 rebounds. You're averaging 29.5 points and 5.5 rebounds a game right now, certainly making an impact for the Lynx in 2 wins for them to start the season. Is this kind of the season you were hoping for? I'm kind of at least in the start.
I think the team got off to a great start. I mean, I could care less how I perform. Coach Dean is a great coach, and he always rates us on our performance. He doesn't care about numbers or anything. Our performance is rated off of effort, and I think that I'm proud of the team and how we performed these first 2 games. We faced some adversity in our second outing, and we rallied, and we pulled together, and I hope that we can build off that moving forward.
This team has certainly been getting attention for a while. You get there, and they're I think it was 18-8, then 25-4 last season. You lose in the second round of the NCAA tournament to Wash U, and it was a tight game, 78-75. You jump into the top 25 in the preseason here this year. Certainly expectations, I would argue, are high for the team and how you guys play. What's the expectations for the team internally?
I just hope that our team can, just stick together, and I think that we will, and I think that we're just hoping that we can just perform the best that we can. We're not really rating, our performance off of other teams. We're just trying to maximize our potential and, go as far as we can, whether that be, a national championship or even first round of the tournament. We just want to do the best we can day in, day out and get better and grow. Those are our only aspirations this year.
And, of course, you guys don't have that automatic bid this season, so a little bit more pressure maybe to make the NCAA tournament on just the merits of your season. Does that put pressure on you guys knowing, hey, our conference really doesn't matter at this point. We need to go out there and win every night.
I credit our conference. Our conference, the SAA, is very, very tough, and I think that not only has our team gotten better, but I think that a lot of the teams that we were competing against have gotten better, and I think that this conference has some of the best strategic coaches that there are. And I think that overall, Coach Dean has done an excellent job of trying to step up our strength of schedule out of conference. So we're making a couple early trips. We're on the road for most of our non-conference play. And I think that I can credit that to our higher ranking this year than usual. Trying to toughen up our schedule.
Certainly. This weekend you're at Texas Tyler and Laterno, almost kind of a flashback to the old days of the old conference. You got Southwestern on there. You're going to play Austin on the road. You're playing Centenary in Louisiana on the road. Obviously, the conference opponents, you're going to play Rust a second time. That will be on the road. And then obviously you have your conference opponents, Birmingham Southern Center, Oglethorpe, Millsap, Sperry, Hendricks, and Sewanee. So a lot of travel. And I'm really curious. You played in the SCAC for a season. You now play in the SAA. This will be the second year in that conference. There's a ton of travel involved. How does a team, how do you as a player adjust to spending a lot of time on a bus?
Actually, Coach Dean is doing a great job of incorporating yoga. So we're actually going to be a more flexible team this year. So hopefully that the long bus rides won't take such a toll on our bodies. Our training staff is excellent. They do an excellent job of recuperating, helping us recuperate and recover after long periods of traveling and long, tough games. So I think that the time on the road will be mostly successful if we can keep up our bodies and stick to what we've been doing so far.
Let's quickly talk about your individual teammates in a sense. You're one of just, I think, 2 seniors on this squad, if my eyesight is good. Yourself and Amy Handelman. And then you have a lot of juniors, and then you have a number of underclassmen under that. Certainly poised with this program, it would appear, for a lot of years of good success. But you as the 2 lone seniors, how much does this season mean to you?
I think that realizing that it's your senior year and that it could possibly be your last year of basketball kind of puts a lot of pressure on you, and I think that it's hard not to put pressure on yourself. But our team has done a really great job of almost humbling us and just teaching us to, take advantage of the moment. So we're just trying to do the best we can and get better, but we're also trying to be good leaders for our younger teammates. And I think that overall our team is just doing a great job of keeping each other balanced while they understand our sense of urgency to perform and do well this year.
What's your goal as a team? What's your goal individually for this year?
Our goal as a team is just take every game, I guess, at a day-by-day basis. We don't want to look too far ahead. We want to just defeat each battle and come out victorious together, most of all. And individually, I just want our team to, perform and do the best we can, and hopefully we're trying to build a dynasty here at Rhodes.
Well, certainly off to a good start. Congratulations on not only a successful transfer from under Pat Summitt's tutelage to Matt Dean's and playing so well as you are, but congratulations on last year's run, and we certainly look forward to seeing how the team does this year against a pretty good schedule and I'm sure high expectations, whether you guys want to admit them to us publicly or not. So good luck. By the way, I did notice in the team picture they got you to be the one on your knees in the front row. I'm not sure as the one who's injured. That was who talked you into that?
Oh, man. I've just learned to just roll with the punches.
Yeah, seriously. Did you get up? Did you even get up? Did you need help? I mean, you've been...
I will admit, it takes me a while to get up if I fall down now.
So you're not diving after loose balls necessarily.
I pick and choose my battles. I've learned that.
Well put. Well, congratulations once again. Looking forward to watching the Lynx play, and of course yourself as well. I appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Hoopsville out of your busy schedule with practices and classes. But before I let you go, we always give the guest the final word. Is there any final thoughts about yourself, about your team, whatever, that you'd like to share with those who may be tuning in?
I think that I can personally testament and say that D3 women's basketball, D3 men's basketball, no matter what level it is, that there are lots of competitors out here that compete day in and day out and work just as hard as athletes at other levels and maybe even harder on their academic work. And I think that, all those athletes deserve to be recognized, and they deserve all the accolades in the world because it's tough. I can tell you it's tough. So I give my, applause to them for just making it through.
Very good and well said. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us. Good luck the rest of the season, as I have mentioned a few times, and we'll look forward to watching the Lynx the rest of the way. And by the way, stay limber on those bus rides.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Lauren Avant joining us here on Hoopsville. We appreciate her taking the time to do so. Again, the team is on the road, kind of in their own stomping grounds this week, but congratulations to her, off to a 29.5-point average. Wouldn't that be great if she kept that up the rest of the season? So congratulations to her and the team. We'll keep an eye on them. We're going to have plenty more coming up here on Hoopsville. We're going to switch back into the men's side a little bit as well. Also, Gordon Mann will be joining us to talk a little bit more about women's basketball as well. You are listening to Hoopsville, presented by D3Hoops.com and the National Association of Basketball Coaches. Don't forget Twitter at D3Hoopsville and hashtag Hoopsville, Facebook.com/Hoopsville, or email us at Hoopsville@D3Hoops.com. Thanks for tuning in on this slightly different Hoopsville Thursday night. We have plenty more ahead, so stay tuned right after this.